Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good afternoon. Let us start the class, okay? I have lots of network issues these days. So, if possible, turn on your videos. Otherwise, how will I know whether you are writing or not what I am dictating? Try to turn on your videos. Okay, let us continue with that PSM, okay? Mortality and morbidity, right? So, what was the last line, Tauyati? For mortality and morbidity, what was the last line? What was the last topic that we had discussed? PSM theory, okay? PSM theory.
PSM theory.
Yes, Tawyati, did you get?
No, ma'am.
For preventive and social medicine, that day we were discussing about the mortality and morbidity, right? Crude death rate, expectation of life. What was the last one? Did we finish the age-specific death rate? Infant mortality rate, child mortality rate. Child mortality rate, is it over? Is it done? Child mortality rate, is it over? Child mortality rate, is it over or not? Say fast. Sajarika?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it over, child mortality rate?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what about under 5 proportionate mortality rate? Is it over? Under 5 proportionate mortality rate.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
What about adult mortality rate? Is it over, adult mortality rate? I don't think so. That adult mortality rate we have completed, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So you start up with adult mortality rate. Write down adult mortality rate. Adult mortality rate, put a dash and write down. This is which number? What is the point? Sajarika, what is the point number? Adult mortality rate is 5th point or what?
I'm 6.
6 point, okay. So number 6 you write adult mortality rate. Put a dash and write the adult mortality rate. The adult mortality rate is defined as the probability of dying, DYING, probability of dying between the age of between the age of 15 and 60 years, between the age of 15 and 60 years per 1000 population, So in between the age group of 15 to 60 years, okay, you will have to find out the mortality rate, okay, and the population rate will be 1000 per population. You will have to find out how many adults are dying between the age group of 15 and 60, okay. Then put a full stop and write down the adult mortality rate. The adult mortality rate offers a way. The adult mortality rate offers a way. OFFERS. The adult mortality rate offers a way to analyze health gaps. To analyze ANALYSE. To analyze health gaps.
Ma'am,
To analyze health gaps. The adult mortality rate offers a way to analyze health gaps between countries in the main working groups. Between countries, COUNTRIES, between countries in the main working groups. In the main working groups. In the main working groups. Full stop. The probability of dying, the probability of dying, DYING, dying in adulthood, the probability of dying in adulthood is greater for men, ME and men, is greater for men, ME and men, is greater for men, ME and men, than for women, WOME and women, in almost all countries. In almost all countries. In almost all countries, comma, but the variations, comma, but the variations between countries is very large. Variation between countries is very large. LARG, large, is very large. Okay. So in adult mortality rate, what do we find? That you will have.
Your voice not coming.
Is it okay now? Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what I was saying, that in adult mortality rate, you will have to find out the rate of adults that are dying, okay, in a year. By chance in 2020, the adults, the age group between 15 and 60 years, how many adults have passed away? How many are dead and how many are still living for 1000 population? You will have to find out. Okay, and it is also said that the probability of dying in adult, especially for men, ME and men, okay, men is greater than women. And why do you think so? Any guesses? Any guesses? Anyone? Why do you think that men are dying more than women? In almost all the countries, you see that the rate of men dying are more than women. So, any idea? Sriyam, any idea? Please
Due
unmute
to
your.
smoking.
Huh?
Due to smoking.
Yes, correct. Due to smoking. And what more? Smoking causes tuberculosis, right? TB. And what more?
Yes, ma'am.
Rich person, any idea?
Drinking.
Yes,
Drinking alcohol.
Yes, drinking alcohol. Correct. Aseng Modi. Aseng Modi. Aseng Modi. Any idea? Why do you think the rate of men dying is more than women? Rohan? Rohan is present or absent? Rohan, any idea? Say fast. Tawyati, any idea, Tawyati?
Yes.
Why do you think the cases of men dying are more than women? Any idea? They already said about smoking, drinking. Do you have any idea?
No, ma'am.
KV? KV, any idea?
Ma'am, because of the lifestyle.
Yes, because of their lifestyle. Very much true. Any more? Salmi Debarma? Salmi Debarma? Salmi Debarma? So, whatever points that you have used or whatever points that you have said is correct. Okay, smoking, the rate of smoking is more in men than in women. Okay, then drinking, then their lifestyle, improper lifestyle. Okay, and also one thing is that they always want to go for some kind of new experiences. Okay, for example, you can say lots of accident cases mainly happens with boys. Okay, what are they? Bike accident. Okay, in the mood of experiencing new things, they go for speed. They break down the speed. Okay, because of which they go to ICU later on after accidents. Okay, so you have to be very careful. Wearing of helmets, many doesn't do, but these days, yeah, they do. But before, the use of helmets, like it was very less. Okay, so all these are the points. You also know what are the things. Okay, so that is the reason why. And they have anxiety problem. They panic mostly. Okay, so these are some of the things that the men suffer than women. Okay, number 8, number next point, number 7 point you write down, maternal mortality rate. 7 point you write, maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality.
Ma'am, can you repeat again? This one is point number 6. That last line.
Hmm?
Last line. Countries is very large.
Yes, finish. Variations between countries is very large. Put a full stop.
Okay.
Then the next numbers, this is the 7th point, I guess. Number 7, you write maternal mortality rate, MMR. If I ask you the full form of MMR, you should know maternal mortality rate. Maternal mortality rate. Put a dash and write down. Maternal mortality accounts for the maternal mortality accounts for the maternal mortality accounts for the greatest proportion of death. Greatest proportion of death. Death. Maternal mortality accounts for the greatest proportion of death among women, WMN, among women of reproductive age in most of the developing world. Reproductive age in most of the developing world. Developing world means India is a developing country. Okay, it's still not developed. It is developing. So you can find that the maternal mortality rate, okay, the women, especially during the reproductive age, okay, the rate of death is more in women. Okay, especially during reproductive age. Okay, in almost most of the countries, but especially in developing countries. Like for India, there are so many women dying, especially during their reproductive age. Understand? They don't to go for proper health checkup. They don't to go for hospitals when they are in their about in their pregnancy period. Okay, many of the villages in many of the villages we find that they are not able to take the mother for proper health checkup. Okay, because of which there are lots of cases that come out every now and then. Okay, they don't used to go, they should go for all this iron tablets. They should go for proper diet, proper nutrition, proper medical checkup, proper medications, but they are not able to get all of those things, because of which the rate is greater in women during that reproductive age group. Okay, and especially in India, lots of children, okay, but they are not able to go for proper nutrition, because of which there is a infant mortality also, and as well as child mortality, as well as maternal mortality. All these three things are interrelated with each other. Okay, the next point you write down, number 8, disease specific mortality rate. Disease specific mortality rate. Disease specific mortality rate. Mortality rate. Number 8 point, put a dash and write down. Mortality rates can be computed for. Mortality rate can be computed for. COMPUTED, computed for specific diseases. Computed for specific diseases, full stop. As countries begin to extricate themselves. As countries begin, COUNTRIE, as countries begin to extricate, EXTRICAT, EXTRICAT, extricate themselves, 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 from the burden of communicable diseases, 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 comma, a number of other indicators, a number of other indicators, a number of other indicators, such as death from, such as death from, such as such as death from cancer, 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 comma, cardiovascular diseases, cardiovascular diseases, CARDIO, cardiovascular, VASCULAR, cardiovascular diseases, comma, accidents, 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 comma, diabetes, 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 cardiovascular diseases, accident, diabetes, etc. have emerged as measures of specific disease problems. Have emerged, EMERG, have emerged as measures of, specific disease problems, of specific disease problems. Okay, so disease specific mortality rate, what does it mean? Okay, according to disease, okay, specific mortality rate, it means to say that the mortality rates are computed for specific diseases. Like for incommunicable diseases, how many people are getting infected? Okay, like for example, the most incommunicable, you can say your coronavirus is also a communicable disease. Okay, some of the communicable diseases are like influenza, hepatitis, measles. Okay, all these are communicable diseases. Okay, so in a country, out of these communicable diseases, how many people are suffering? How many people? What is the death rate in a country? So you will have to find out. Okay, and some of the other indicators, like all these are non-communicable. Cancer. If I am having cancer, you will have cancer. Will you have cancer if I am having cancer just by talking with me or touching me? No, you won't have. Okay, because these are non-communicable. Understand? Cardiovascular diseases. If I have a heart problem, will you have a heart problem if you talk to me or if you touch to me? No, you won't have. Okay, diabetes or accidents. Okay, all these are non-communicable diseases. And communicable are like your measles. Okay, then your hepatitis, influenza. Okay, HIV, tuberculosis. All these are communicable diseases. Understand? So you will have to find out in communicable and uncommunicable diseases how many people are suffering in a country. Okay, according to the disease specific. Disease specific means your communicable and uncommunicable diseases. Okay. Next point. Am I audible? Am I audible, Sajarika?
Ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next point, you please write down case fatality rate. Next point, you write down case fatality rate. CASC, case fatality rate. Put a dash and write down. Case fatality rate measures. Case fatality rate measures, MEASURES measures the risk of persons dying from a certain disease, DISEASE, dying from a certain disease within a given time period. Within a given time period. Within a given time period. Full stop. Then you write case fatality rate is calculated. Case fatality rate is calculated as number of deaths, DATHS, as number of deaths from a specific disease, during a specific time period, divided by number of cases, of the disease.
Can you repeat the line? Ma'am, can you repeat the line?
Okay. Case fatality rate is calculated as number of death from a specific disease during a specific time period, divided by number of cases, of the disease, during the same time period, comma, usually expressed as per 100. Usually expressed as per 100. 100, 100. Usually expressed as per 100. So within a given time period, you will just have to find out the rate, okay, of how many people are dying. Okay, and it is expressed as per 100, 100, not 1000, okay, as per 100. In child mortality, maternal mortality, you have to do it per 1000, but in case of fatality rate, it's per 100, 100. Number last point you write, last number 9, I guess, years of potential life lost. Years of potential life lost, YPLL. In bracket, you can write down YPLL. The full form is years of potential life lost, LOST, lost. If I ask you the full form of YPLL, you should tell me years of potential life lost. Put a dash and write down YPLL is based on the years of life. YPLL is based on the years of life. YPLL is based on the years of life lost, 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 through premature death. Through premature death, PREMATURE, through premature death, DATH, death, full stop. It is defined as one. It is defined as one, ONE1. It is defined as one, ONE1, that occurs before the age, defined as one that occurs before the age to which a dying person could have expected to survive. Before the age to which a dying person could have expected to survive. Dying person could have expected to survive. SURVIV, survive. Dying person could have expected to survive. Full stop. A 30-year-old, a 30-year-old who dies in a road accident, a 30-year-old who dies in a road accident could, 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 theoretically, 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 have lived, lived to an average life expectancy of 75 years of age. Average life expectancy of 75 years of age, comma, thus 45 years of life are lost. Thus 45 years of life are lost. Thus, a 30-year-old who dies in a road accident could theoretically have lived to an average life expectancy of 75 years of age, comma, thus 45 years of life are lost. Got it? So what do you mean by YPL?
After expectancy.
What? Expectancy of 75 years of age? Expectancy of 75 years of age. 75 years of age, comma, thus 45 years of life are lost. Thus 45 years of life are lost. So YPLL, what does it mean? Okay, years of potential life loss. It means that through premature death, okay, you will have to find out through premature death how many people have died. What is the mortality rate? Okay, like for example, I have given you, by chance, if a 30 years old man, okay, a man who is 30 years old, if he dies in a road accident, okay, he was not about to die, But road accident was a sudden thing. He doesn't know that today I'm going to have an accident. It was all of a sudden, and he died in a road accident. Unexpected death. Okay, premature death. So he died. Then what happened? If by chance, if he was about to leave, if he didn't had the accident, then he would have survived maybe for 75 years, for example. If 75 years was his death day, but he died a premature death, because of which 45 years of his life are lost, because he died too early. It was unexpected. Okay, in a murder case, for example, if someone is murdered, I doesn't know that today someone is coming to murder me, or I'm about to die today. So these are unexpected. Maybe if I would have survived, I would have survived for maybe 60 to 65 years or 70 years, but unexpectedly I am dead. So these are known as years of potential life lost. The life lost, that is unexpected death. Okay, it can be through accident, it can be through drowning. Okay, through drowning also people die. So they doesn't know na, that they will die today by going somebody. Some small kids, what they do, they go for diving. Okay, they go for swimming, and then out of a sudden they are dead. They get drowned in water. Maybe they are not skillful. So these are unexpected. They never thought it would happen. But this is known as years of potential life lost. Okay. Next, number 2, mortality is over. Okay, all this comes under your mortality. That is crude death rate, expectation of life, age-specific death rate, infant mortality rate, IMR, child mortality rate, CMR. Okay, under 5 proportionate mortality rate, then adult mortality rate, AMR. Okay, maternal mortality rate, MMR, disease-specific mortality rate, case fatality rate, YPLL. So all these are your factors, or all these are the mortality indicators. So number 2, you write down about morbidity. Number 2 is morbidity. Number 2 is morbidity. Srijana, what is morbidity? Srijana, what do you mean by morbidity?
Ma'am, don't know.
Morbidity, I told you now, it is the rate of disease in a population. Okay, morbidity means the rate of disease. Rate of disease in a population. Mortality means the death rate. Okay, and sometimes students, they get confused with mortality and morbidity. They say mortality is death rate, morbidity is life rate. Or that is not right. Morbidity means the rate of disease. Okay, write down as a note that morbidity, put a dash and write rate of disease. Morbidity means the rate of disease. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Then can you see the screen? Can you see the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So morbidity indicators. Okay. The morbidity indicators means the rate of disease. So you have to write down this thing. Okay. In morbidity, the following morbidity rates that are used for assessing ill health are: first is your incidence and prevalence. Next is your notification rate. Number C is your attendance rate. Okay, at outpatient departments, health centers, etc. Means whenever you go to an hospital for getting admission, first you need to go to a OPD. Okay, outpatient departments. So you will have to give your attendance rate. Okay, then next is your admission, readmission, and discharge rate. Admission means whenever you are sick, you go for admission. Okay, you get admitted to the hospital. And once you are fine, you come out, you take discharge. But even after getting discharge, if you are not totally well, you again go for admission. Then that is known as readmission. Next is the length of stay in the hospital. Okay, means the duration of stay in the hospital. Next is the spell of sickness or absence from work or school. Whenever you are absent, okay, if you say that you have some kind of you were admitted in the hospital, what do you need to provide to the authority? You need to provide a medical certificate that yes, you were really sick and you were admitted in the hospital. So spell of sickness or absence from work or school. Understand? So these are the mortality indicators, A, B, C, D, E, F. So these are the points which you need to write down. Okay. John Deep, write this. Okay. So the morbidity part, I will just give you a picture in your WhatsApp. Okay, you can note it down after mortality. So you do one thing, please join again for the class. I will take with another topic. Join the class again, all of you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.